Hello friends, today we are going to discuss the poem Noiseless Patient Spider, which is prescribed in SYBA English Special Paper 2 S2 of Savitribai Phule Pune University. The poem is written by famous poet Walt Whitman. Let us first try to understand the biography of the poet Walt Whitman. Whitman was an American poet, essayist, and journalist, and he is among the most influential poets in American canon, and often called as the father of free verse. Whitman's work breaks the boundaries of poetic form and is generally prose-like. He also used unusual images and symbols in his poetry. His work was controversial in its time, particularly his poetry collection Leaves of Grass, which was described as obscene for its overt sensuality. The theme of the poem is like this. The poem describes a spider doing his work of preparing a web continuously out of itself. The spider is doing his job, giving his full concentration and efforts, which is a kind of ideal for the poet. The poet highlights that the spider becomes one with his job. This poem is not just about a spider, but the speaker wants to tell us that the spider is a metaphor for the soul, which also strives hard and explores to connect. The text of the poem is: a noiseless patient spider I mark where on the little promontory it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant vast surrounding. It launched forth filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And oh, my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge you will need be formed, till the ductile anchor hold, till the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere, oh my soul. The poem Noiseless Patient Spider is a fine philosophical poem, and as it is discussed, it is written by famous American poet Walt Whitman. In this poem, the poet describes a spider and its weaving web, or a net, from its saliva. Once the poet visited a lonely space and he saw a spider, and it identifies many good qualities in him. The poet wants to learn these qualities. The poet says that he marked means he saw a noiseless patient spider, and according to the poet it stood isolated. So the spider has two good qualities: one, noiseless, and second, patiently working. It explores the vacant vast surrounding, means that the spider views, it creates the web which proves its existence. The poet describes the web as its launch forth filament out of itself. This means that spider creates web from wire. His work is described as tireless and with speed. In the same way, the poet advises his soul to work tirelessly and speedily. Thus the poet praises the creation of web and highlights it as creativity. The word filament is repeated here, so there is use of figures of speech repetition. The second section of the poem is philosophical, in which the poet asks his soul to work continuously. And I quote, "Oh, my soul, where you stand." According to him, the soul is surrounded measureless portion of space. It is continuously musing, venturing means searching something to connect. The search goes until the bridge is forth and anchor is hold. Thus the poet wants his soul to remain firm at one place, just like the ship remains stable due to anchor on the harbor. Thus the poet wants qualities of spider and requests his soul to be like a spider. Thus the poem Noiseless Patient Spider is a fine philosophical poem in which the poet sees spider as an ideal and he wants his soul to perform the role of spider. The poem as a metaphor, the poet uses spider as a metaphor of continuously working and striving through unnoticed by others. In nature, every creature works hard and tries to establish bond with nature. The spider is a kind of metaphor of creativity in the poem. Thank you very much.